I am honored to introduce our first panelist, Representative Andrea Romero, serving New Mexico's House District 46.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you all. Hello, dear friends, dear relatives, and our community from here, those joining us from far and wide, bienvenidos. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to my home. I stand before you today as a proud New Mexican and a proud state representative who had the opportunity to bring our medical psilocybin legislation to fruition in the New Mexico State Legislature right here. I see my colleagues in the audience, so yes, we did that and we're still celebrating. But I also stand before you as someone whose life has been shaped, scarred, and transformed by the opioid epidemic. This is not an abstract policy issue for me. It's deeply personal. I grew up in the epicenter of the opioid epidemic, and I have witnessed so many lives taken too soon in northern New Mexico. I've lost cousins, friends, loved ones. Too many to name, too many to count. And yet I carry them with me every single day. Their absence, their stories, their unfinished lives are part of the reason I do this work. What we are living through is not just an epidemic of addiction, it's an epidemic of despair. Generational trauma, PTSD, and the wounds of violence and poverty all converge in our communities, creating this cycle of pain. Too many of our people are seeking answers, sometimes in substances that offer temporary relief but bring lasting harm. Too many feel they have no way out. But I believe that the opposite of despair is opportunity and possibility. And here in New Mexico, we know what it means to find the possibility in the harshest of conditions. Our ancestors endured conquest and colonization, displacement and suppression of our languages and cultures. And yet we are still here. We are we are often haunted by that ancestry, yes, but we are also saved by our own hope, our own capacity for new beginnings. I have spoken of what I envision to become a healing economy for New Mexico. I use that phrase because I know we cannot punish our way out of addiction, nor can we medicate our way out of trauma without changing the environment in which people live. What we need is a culture of healing, one that values body, mind, and spirit together, and one that uses the extraordinary gifts of this land as part of the medicine. Already, people come here from all over the world for healing. They come to breathe our dry desert air, to feel the high altitude sun, to sit in our mineral pools, to hike our wild mountains, to watch the leaves shift to brilliant reds and golds starting this time of year. They come to write, to paint, to form, to listen, to rediscover themselves. That is the essence of what New Mexico offers, renewal through the land itself. And now, with the passage of the Medical Psilocybin Act, we have an opportunity to deepen that healing. For centuries, plant medicine has been part of the wisdom traditions of indigenous peoples. And today, science is affirming what our ancestors already knew, that psilocybin and other plant medicines can help rewire the brain, interrupt cycles of trauma, and open pathways to healing that conventional medicine has not been able to provide. This policy breathes new hope into our communities. It says to people, you are not broken, you are not alone, and you are not beyond help. And I know how difficult it can be to seek out treatment in our communities. In my own family, we were taught that unless you were bleeding, you did not go to the doctor. Mental health was often stigmatized, and it was something that you prayed to your God for help with because you could never really talk about it. And healing was something you had to figure out on your own or with your God, and often with whatever remedios you could find. And sadly, for so many, that meant self-medicating with drugs or alcohol. And for too many, the darkness came too quickly. But what if healing didn't have to be hidden? What if the very act of seeking care could be celebrated as strength and not shame? This is the vision. This is the vision of the healing economy, transforming medical spaces into places of renewal, where therapies grounded in both science and tradition allow us to repair our bodies, reset our minds, and truly reclaim our future. And I will tell you, there is no better place in the world to create this new model of healing than New Mexico. Here we are at the confluence of histories and cultures where wisdom in the land has always been central to survival. Here we know that healing is not just personal, it is communal. And here we are ready to invite the healers, the innovators, the practitioners, and the dreamers to build something new together, here in the ever enchanted state. Before I ever imagined running for office, I was just a little chiquita from our community hearing about opioids, but always in the whispers and in the dark corners of our communities, watching despair ravage my friends and family. And now we hear of the experience, the horrors of fentanyl ravaging our communities. And I felt so helpless at times, but I knew that if we didn't dream of something better, the cycle would only continue. And now, in the chambers of the New Mexico legislature, I have the privilege and the responsibility of helping to shape that dream into policy. We have an opportunity before us, not only to address the opioid epidemic with compassion and courage, but to make New Mexico a beacon for what healing can look like in this country, in the world, to build a healing economy that is equitable, affordable, and accessible to everyone who needs it. I'm so grateful to the advocates, the medical professionals, the community members, and my colleagues who made the Medical Psilocybin Act possible. And now the real work begins, to implement it with care, with integrity, and with humility, to listen to those whose lives it will touch most deeply. We owe it to our loved ones who did not make it. We owe it to the young people still searching for answers, and we owe it to ourselves and to our future. So let us rise to the challenge. Let us build the healing economy that our state deserves. And in doing so, invite the world to see how it can be done, with heart, with wisdom, and with hope. Thank you all so much for allowing me to share this vision with you, and I promise you this, I will do everything in my power to bring this healing economy to life, because it belongs here and it belongs to us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.